You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on the second half of the Factor Uncensored. A parent's public forum of discipline is under scrutiny tonight. Is it too much? This comes after photos and videos of a boy standing outside of Dollar General have gone viral. He can be seen holding a sign that reads, "I tried to shoplift, now I'm just lifting this sign." Is this good parenting or humiliating? Joining us to talk about it, parents Dale Lynn Settle and Rashonda Tate. Glad to have you, Rashonda. And of course, we know you had your bout with this.
I did.
For those who don't remember, what did you do with your daughter?
So this was years ago, before there was even this thing of going viral. I was one of the first parents to go viral. I had no idea that that's what I was about to do. I'm just from the mindset of where you show out is where you get toe out. And so at the time, my daughter showed out on the internet, and so that's where her punishment was. I don't have a problem with this because I would rather that than him holding a mugshot and holding his number. It wasn't around his fellow kids. It was outside of a Dollar General where he stole. But I do think a parent needs to know their children. And so you need to know if your child, how much this will affect them.
For some, this may not work either.
Right.
Or, they just blow it off. Dale Lynn, your thoughts?
That's absolutely the point that I would make, is that it depends on the child. Every child can accept this type of punishment. And to the point that it wasn't in front of his friends, it obviously is now. So with your daughter, it was like years ago. Now social media, it's a different game. So it's a totally different generation. These kids, the way we were disciplined as kids is not the same. They don't really care about much. And so you have to ask yourself, will this punishment actually work? And does this actually show as a form of discipline? Is this real discipline or is this humiliation? And what is the objective and what do we get out of this? For me, if this had been me, I mean, in my generation, the point would have been driven. But for this new age generation, I don't know how much of this point would have been driven.
For me, it'd have been a belt.
Exactly, exactly. I can't imagine. And also you have to ask yourself, are there other ways that he could have been disciplined? Are there other things? Could he have written a letter to the store? Could he have actually had to work in the store? Could he have to do some things around the house? I mean, there's other things that could have been done to keep him from having to be on a public display, especially with the way social media is. Kids as young as 8, 7 have phones nowadays. So.
And for both of you guys, could there be a psychological impact to this child where he is so humiliated he could do something dangerous or harmful to himself?
Yeah, that was one of the things that I got a lot of. I got a lot of your daughter was going to hate you and all of this. And again, that was not my intention to go viral. And she has grown up to graduate from college. I was just vilified when this happened to me. But again, we are in a different time and age. Now what they'll do is they'll take that little boy and make him into a meme that will live on forever. And so those types of things, I don't know that I would make the same decision today that I made 15 years ago because of where we are right now in social media, and it can have some long-term impacts.
Dale, what works now with children?
Hell, I don't know. To be honest with you, it's 5 of them. I just had an issue with one of them. My child on the 8th grade trip and slapped somebody today, and I'm just like, okay, bring him home. I need him real quick, And I'll send him back to California, but I need him real quick. So, like, honestly, I can't really say exactly what works because it is based on the child. And I can say with 5 children, every one of my children is different, and what they all need individually is totally different. I've got one, you just look at her and she start to crumple. I got one of them, so it really just depends on the child. But I also believe my faith plays a huge part in my parenting. I spend a lot of time just in prayer, like, Lord, help me. How do I do this? How do I handle this? And I also do a lot of research and a lot of reading, but a lot of times it really just depends on the child, and what that baby needs right then in that moment. I do wonder if this baby is going to have a lot of anger and, resentment, because now the question is, you picked up your phone and you recorded it. Was the parent recording or was it someone else? And if the parent was the one recording it and you posted it on social media for it to be seen, were you trying to discipline your child or were you really just trying to embarrass them? And so that kind of makes me wonder.
And in the last 30 seconds, what would be your best advice for parents in a situation like that?
Really to talk to them. I agree the recording of it takes it to a different level. It's one thing to have them just standing out there, but to make a video that can be used as a meme later on. But really it's just about knowing your children and then knowing the different disciplines that work. Taking phones maybe don't work. Mine didn't work with my son because he was using Alexa, and I had no idea. So you just have to really know what works.
It's hard to keep up with them now.
So much so.
Alexa, read my text.
Right.
Thank you all for joining us.